What happened to the other member? Miss Finn? Yeah, she told me she went. Don't need the 2 for 1.
Good evening. Welcome to the City of Opa-locka Audit Committee meeting here held at Shabundi Village Auditorium. It is Thursday, November 18th, 2021, 5:30 p.m. Madam Clerk, Madam Secretary, roll call.
Board Member Johnson,
Present.
Chairwoman Williams,
Here. Invocation. Okay.
Yeah, always ready.
Father, oh God, we thank you for this day, Lord God. We pray for the God to be a day that will bless this city. Looking on Revelation 5, your will, let us see.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag
Of the United States of America. Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need to approve the minutes for the September 1st, 2021 meeting.
Madam Chair,
Mike.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Board Member Johnson.
Madam Chair, I would like to recommend approval of the minutes for September 1st, 2021 as approved.
The minutes for September 1st, 2021 have been moved by Board Member Johnson and second by me. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Chairwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, we now have public comment. Public comment is now closed. Oh, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Pursuant to Florida statutes 286.0114, the Audit Committee will allow public comment on any matter either identified on this meeting agenda as requiring action or anticipated to come before the committee for action in reasonable proximity to this meeting. Speakers shall be limited to 3 minutes per person and the assignment of one person's time to another or designation of group spokesperson shall be allowed at the discretion of the committee chair. At this time, I don't have any callers registered to participate virtually.
Okay, any public comments in the audience? Okay, hearing none, public comment is closed. We have some discussion items.
Yes. Madam Chair.
Chair Member Johnson.
Yes, if we could reflect on the policy and procedure, which in our package, it is called the administrative, hold on, it's your second tab. I just want to clear it up. It says discussion policy and procedure that governs the audit committee. And on the second page, you have it. And on the second page of the policy, on number 9, it indicates the city clerk. I would like to make a motion for that to reflect the committee clerk instead of the city clerk, because of the committee, we have a clerk. So I would like to make a motion that that be revised to reflect committee clerk.
Okay, motion was made by
Johnson.
John. By Board Member Johnson. I would like, since I'm just seeing this, do we need if I can read through them? Or can we come back? Do they need to go tonight? Or is it okay for me to give comments later at another? Yes,
Once we review this as a committee, we do the recommend, through a motion, we're gonna do the recommendation, and it's gonna come to you all as the commission, and then you can make any other revisions you want.
got it. Thank you so
And I think
much.
that'll give you a little more time to.
Okay.
digest.
So there's a motion by committee member Johnson. And I move the motion, second the motion. Roll call.
Board Member Johnson. Chairwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 2-0.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Also on number 10, there is an indication on the second line that also have the same verbiage for a city clerk, that to be revised to committee clerk. And I will put that in the form of a motion for revision to change. See,
Are there any others, or you want to go one by one
Well, I
as a
think-
motion?
thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion by committee member Johnson. And I second the motion, and we'll have a roll call.
Board Member Johnson.
Yes,
Chairwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 2-0.
Okay.
and then the last one, Madam Chair, is number 12. And you may want to look at that just because it says any matter scheduled before the audit committee to vote requires at least 3 days in advance. And I don't know, is that cutting it tight? Maybe I was gonna give it, 5 to 10 days, a little more time because of the element and time that we're in now. I think it needs 10 days will be reasonable for the committee, especially when you add more people on. So I would like, if you don't mind, I would like to suggest at least 10 days in advance. And that would even give staff a little more time to work on if should anything come up to vote on.
Okay, we have a motion. I would, before we move the motion, like to hear from staff if that is feasible in terms of 3 days or 10 days before we move the
Mrs. Czar?
motion. Yes.
Sorry, Madam Mayor. Well, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
You would like staff to
Yes,
come up front, right?
yeah.
Mrs. Czar, the chairperson would like for you to speak.
Yes, sure. Good evening, Jerry Lazar over finance. Welcome. So it seems like a lot of the items that do come before the audit committee are time sensitive. We are normally, I guess in the last 3 or 4 audits that we have had, we're literally getting the audit 2 or 3 or 4 days by the time it's due. So to have a 10-day notice may cause a problem when we get to the time frame when we're trying to submit, because that means that we may be past the deadline, right? So I think 10 days notice on an item that you need to vote on is too much time. I think we need to cut the time down. I think 3 days, 1 to 3 days is sufficient, and 10 days would be too much. So I think it's fine where it is. I don't think 10 days, at least 10 days makes, would help us internally.
Okay, Madam Chair, I'm only speaking from past experience with the ones that we've had
Mhm.
and they have not met. But if you feel
Mhm.
at this junction it's feasible, it's cool with me.
Yeah, and I can use the example of the RFP that just was submitted. The RFP was, deadline was the 15th. A meeting was called on the 18th. We had an evaluation committee, a day or 2 ago. So we didn't have enough time. We wouldn't have had enough time to notice, which would have further delayed the process in selecting or recommending to your committee a company to go forward with. So that's why I think that at least 10 days may be too much. And that what we have in here is sufficient.
Then, Madam Chair, my motion is mute.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you so
ma'am.
much. Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, great.
Thank you. If there are no other discussion items on the policies and procedures, we will now move to a discussion of the removal of board member Hepburn.
Madam Chair, in our previous meeting, well, I'll let the manager, because I think he brought up some things, but I do recall, I just want to put that on the record. I do recall that the advisory member Pace said that the board member did not live in the city boundaries, that they may have owned some property in the city boundary, but he didn't. So I think the attorney, maybe Madam Chair, can weigh in, and assistant city manager.
Okay, Madam Attorney.
What exactly is the question?
It's concerning,
The residential.
it's concerning, member Hepburn.
Remember that the city manager recommended removal, and he was sent a letter to remove, and Mayor Pace
I know, I'm just trying to get the question.
had some reservation as to why, and it was brought up about his resident, staying within the city boundaries. That's what I recall.
Well, I also know that this particular individual was appointed. It was appointment of the manager. And the manager felt that based upon certain circumstances, he no longer wanted to have him sitting in that particular position.
Do we know why? Or I do recall that was a discussion on the dais one night. So does this mean he's removed, or we're just discussing the removal?
We're gonna recommend it at this
Sounds like
point,
the
because
question.
my understanding from the previous meeting that it was not brought to the committee. And so at this point, we officially will make the decision so that when it comes to the commission, you guys will have the final say in it. So based on the information that I heard previously from the manager, if that's the case, then I would like the motion for the removal, because I don't have anything else to base it on.
Madam
Mr.
Chair?
Oh,
Madam
yes.
Chair, I guess we can decide what we want to do with it, but I did want to note that on the letter, it states that he's going by the Administrative Policy 2020.001 FO3. And those are the policies and procedures that you all just discussed. So that's something that hasn't been approved by the commission quite
But
yet.
Chair
thank you.
Member Johnson. Mhm.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The only reservations that I have with that is that the policy was drafted by staff in order to establish the committee. But the committee have not approved the policy and procedure. Once we do the approval, the recommendation then goes to the commission, and you all make the final decision. So I think the protocol hadn't been put in place, and that was the reservation at that point. And so from tonight, once we make it, then that's recommending that he comes off, then it goes to the commission.
Did the committee ever approve the members of the committee? Was it ever approved by the commission?
Yes,
Okay,
came on
then.
by
Well,
approval.
when did that happen?
I think that predated me.
I was.
Because
If I may?
Sorry.
If I may, so the board members, the committee members were approved by the city commission. However, Mr. Hepburn was he was appointed by Mr. Pate as Mr. Pate, because the city
Appointee.
manager have an appointee. And he did appoint Mr. Hepburn. After learning that Mr. Hepburn does not live in the city, Mr. Pate sent him a letter removing him from the board.
Yes.
And he wants to be able to appoint someone else to serve in that capacity.
Right.
And it's an advisory capacity.
Capacity.
Madam Attorney, aren't there committees that are within our city that have members that don't live in Opa-locka?
Yes, it just depends on the, either by statute or whatever the policies and procedures that have been approved for the committee or board.
I guess for me, I have to get some context because if he was a positive and a good productive member, why would I say him not stay on a board because he doesn't live? Are we recommending to change the policies and procedures?
No, but that's the reason that the manager is using for
Yes.
removing him from the committee, because he represents the manager and what the manager feels should be appropriate in his position as someone serving on this particular committee. And I think there might have been some difference in that with the manager, because remember, this is the audit committee that deals strictly with audit. It's not a finance committee.
Right.
And that
Yeah.
is some of the things that will be dealt with at doing that process. And I think the manager felt uncomfortable with that. And, you know, when he looked at it, we looked at his credentials and everything, he did not meet the criteria that was in our administrative code for this particular committee. So that's what took place.
Okay. Board Member Johnson.
Madam Chair, the policy was drafted in June of 2020. In 2020, we had one meeting. Our last meeting was our second meeting, and this is our third meeting. So I think if you're gonna start productive and you got your policy, if that should change, then I think we got an opportunity now to change the residential. But I think they will fall in the Florida statute and different things. And for his designee, for me to question as a member, his designee to be recommended to the commission, I don't feel comfortable. And he sort of put it on record last time, but I think we didn't have an opportunity to clear it up because we got really down into the presentation of the auditor. And so that's why we said we will come back at this point as FYI. Thank you.
I do accept the motion. I just don't know which way I'm voting, but yes, I accept your motion. And I know it's a discussion item, so we'll move the motion.
The motion was to concur with the recommendation from the manager as his designee. I think it's Ashley Hepburn to be removed because I think he want to replace them. So the removal from the audit committee effective immediately. Well, the letter already went out, but
Can we amend this? I'm just not
The policy?
comfortable. Okay.
the policy,
Madam Attorney,
Can you amend what?
I'm sorry, Mr. Ellis.
That's in the spirit of what Mr. Sorry.
you might not.
Just in the spirit of Mr. Pate concerning Mr. Hepburn, I think whoever's on the committee, this is my suggestion to the committee, you need to come up parameters of what that's going to look like in the future. Mr. Hepburn is a very knowledgeable man. He works for another municipality in another county in a financial position. And I don't know if that would, is positive or negative. But I'm just thinking that you all need to put the parameters. I know from the position of the manager, he was uncomfortable because a lot of the things we talk about on this committee is dealing with auditing and not the financial matters. Maybe Mr. Hepburn could serve better on another committee, but I just know what was taking place in that environment.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you for that. There's a motion on the floor and I second the motion. Roll call.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes,
Chairwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 2-0.
Next, we have the audit committee meeting schedule.
and that's what we're gonna discuss, right? As to when we're gonna meet.
Yes, we're going to discuss it.
No, we have to discuss it.
Discuss the schedule.
So today being what, the second Thursday? I would like for y'all to look at, if possible, Madam Chair, another day because I have a commitment on a committee I'm in another city. And we also meet the second. This is the second Thursday, right?
Yes.
So if
Mhm.
it's, because the second Wednesday is your commission meeting. So if it's possible, the third Thursday will fit better for me, if that's possible for you. And I didn't know about the time.
What?
Hmm?
Oh, it's the third. This is the
That's
third Thursday.
Well, then it's good, because we meet the second Thursday.
So with that's also following commission meeting right behind it?
No, the commission is
No,
the second and
okay.
the fourth.
Oh, yeah, special commission meeting.
That was a special one.
I'm
So,
fine with that. Do we meet once a month or is it every, I don't know.
'cause
Yes, Ms. Lazier?
we were supposed to meet last month. but we didn't.
So, good evening again. The primary purpose of the audit committee is to, based on the Florida statute, is to identify the audit firm and to also determine the evaluation criteria for selecting the audit firm. So the last meeting that we had, or the meeting prior, the audit committee assisted with the evaluation criteria. A proposal was presented, it was accepted, it went before the commission, and the city then established the process to identify an auditor, which is also on the agenda tonight, the evaluation of the results from that. So I guess from our perspective as staff, the committee has fulfilled its function in terms of selecting an evaluation criteria to determine how we will go about selecting a firm. That's one. I think the audit committee's contribution can definitely be utilized in terms of reporting back. So for example, once the audit is completed, there's usually a presentation that goes before the commission. This will be a great opportunity perhaps to have the audit committee then have the auditor then present to the audit committee, and then it can go before the commission. So that may be an opportunity for the audit committee to meet again, but outside of that, I don't see a need to meet on a monthly basis. However, perhaps you are thinking something differently, but I don't see a need to meet on a continuing basis. I think it's as needed. And so I foresee, if you guys accept the recommendation of who was selected, the next step is it going before the commission and then negotiating with an audit firm to begin the audit with staff, right? And then we will go through that process. A report will be drafted, it will be accepted, and then it comes before the commission. But that's an opportunity to then perhaps have the audit committee get a briefing first, come with comments, and maybe then bring to the commission. So again, I don't see a need for continuous monthly meetings. I think the next meeting would either be to present the final audit or change your evaluation criteria. But this RFP was for the 20 and 21 audit. So I don't foresee you having to meet unless there's something that you want to change in your administrative rules or anything like that. I just don't see the need to meet outside of this meeting, or maybe one more meeting when we're ready to present, which staff will inform the committee at that time when we're at that point to present something.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lizzie.
And I totally, Madam Chair, agree. And I think if staff remembered, I said it perhaps need to be an ad hoc committee and an ad hoc position, just when you need it. And mostly all of us are in the city boundary, so it's easy to have accessibility. But we had to put that on record through the,
Yes, yeah, no, I totally agree. And I do agree with it being an ad hoc as needed. Okay. Is there anything that we don't need to vote on? Okay, all right. Now, we're going to move on where we review of the Florida statute 218.391 And Ms. Lawson, oh, Ms.
Madam Chair, we've gone over that at least 2 meetings, last meeting and in December.
Oh, it's on the, sorry, okay. I'm
And I
just
think
following
this
agenda.
agenda, one thing when you get to other, I would like to bring up, I think this agenda was drafted by the previous chair. And
Okay,
even the recommendation was down as up, well, I get, when you get there.
okay. No,
So I didn't see, I didn't see a need for that, but because it was there,
okay,
when I called staff, I wanted to make sure that you, as a new chair, weigh in, because I'm in agreement with you. I didn't see a need. We had it last meeting in September and we had it in December of last year. And I think pretty much I know it may be line by line. I'm just joking.
no, I'll definitely read it. Is it in, Ms. Lawson, in this packet? Okay, so I'll definitely read it. And if anyone knows me, I hate paper. I'm just telling you. I know you like the paper, but I'm all about computer. Moving on, we'll go to our other business where we'll discuss the recommendation of the RFP selection committee to select a firm to provide independent auditing services. And I'm going to default this over to Ms. Lazier. Oh, no. Ms. Lawson.
Good afternoon. Again, the city of Opa-locka accepted RFPs for independent auditing services. The RFPs came in closed on Monday, and the selection committee meeting was held on yesterday. You have 3 proposals in your packet, along with the scoring sheets from each of the committee members and their recommended firm. And the request before the committee today is accepting the proposal of Markham LLP for independent auditing services pursuant to RFP number 21-111-5200. Further, making a recommendation to the city commission to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with the firm ranked first.
Okay. What's the name of the firm?
Markham LLP.
Ms. Lawson, the last part I didn't hear. No, not the name of the firm, but what you just said, enter into agreement. I didn't hear that part.
The recommendation is for the audit committee to accept the selection committee recommendation, allowing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the firm ranked first. Ranked first.
Okay.
So according to the ranking, they had the highest scoring.
Any discussion?
I saw the recommendation, but I also looked at Rodney. It was one in here. I really, on committees, I really appreciate the input of the committee, but as I start looking at performance, normally, and since I'm making a recommendation to the commission, I really, it doesn't carry a whole lot of weight for me. So I was torn between 2 and I saw the scores and everything. But I would like for staff or whoever, were you on that committee, Madam Clerk? Through
No,
the
ma'am.
chair?
No, ma'am, I don't serve on the selection committee. I facilitate the meeting. The committee, would you like to know the committee members' names?
Yes, please.
The committee members were Gregory Gay, Joy Hawthorne, Nelson Rodriguez, and Cassandra Ojomo.
Okay, Madam, so through the chair to the clerk, all of the individuals that served on the review panel are all city employees?
With the exception of one who's working in our finance department from Miami-Dade County.
From Miami-Dade County?
Yes,
And what was that person's name?
Cassandra Ojomo.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
I don't have any further discussion. The only thing that, Madam Chair, that I saw that, and I didn't even see it here, and I know I saw it, Rodney Hartley. Do you remember one of the auditors being? Put my glasses on. Maybe the staff remember.
Madam
can I
Chair?
refer
Yes, please. Ms.
I'll do the-
Lazier?
to the manager? I know it's
Since
in
I
here.
answered.
Yes, good evening. Ms. Lazar. I would defer to Ms. Lawson as she's the one who went through the process. However, we did have 3 firms. I'm very well aware of all 3 firms. They all do good work in the community. One firm was Markham LLP. They're a much bigger firm. We had HCT Certified Public Accountants. That's the one that's run by Mr. Roderick Harvey that you're referring to. He's based in Hollywood. And S. Davis and Associates is run by Tanya and Sean Davis, and they're based in Hollywood. I believe Markham is in Miami-Dade County. They have a local Miami office. It looks like Markham was ranked the highest. And then S. Davis and Associates was the second highest. And then the HCT Certified Public Accountants, which is the Roderick Harvey that you're mentioning, was ranked 3rd. So I think we had 4 professionals with at least 1 member of the committee being a CPA with over 30 years of finance and accounting experience on the committee. So they appear to be knowledgeable and forthright in their assessment. So, I mean, I defer to the committee to evaluate their recommendation and the scoring to determine who you best feel should go forward if it's not what staff selected.
Thank you.
I'm ready to make a motion. Any discussion? Okay. I make a motion to continue with the rankings that the committee already put forth on our table to agree, go into an agreement with Markham. Did I say that correct? Markham firm
Marco LLP.
LLP. Thank you.
And I
that's my
second
motion.
that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Roll call.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Chairwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 2-0.
Yes, Board Member Johnson.
Before we conclude and look like we're right on time, I would like to make a recommendation whenever we meet, if the clerk can tally the members to see if it's any additional things to be added to the agenda, because if I had not made a couple of calls yesterday, this would have been on your regular special commission meeting and we had not seen it. So I know that you want to do the right thing. I know that transparency is very important, but when you put staff at an awkward position if we don't have it documented. So I would like to make a motion that all future agenda items be considered by the members with the concurrence by the chair.
Okay, second the motion.
Board Member Johnson,
Yes.
Chairwoman Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 2-0.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll move it.
Second.
Great
We're-
meeting.
We're adjourned. Thank
Thank
you all.
Thank you so much, staff.